Welcome back to another edition of Baseball for Maniacs. The Phillies went to Miami and did a job. They won 3 out of 4. Now, the name of the game is winning series, right? But in a 4-game series, it's always tough to expect 3 out of 4, right? But where the Phillies were in the hole that they've dug themselves into for this season, this is what they needed to do. I'm going back to what I said in my 5-series layout. Atlanta, San Francisco, Miami, the Athletics, and the Rockies. I had them losing 2 out of 3 to Atlanta. They did that. I had them sweeping the San Francisco Giants. They did that. I had them taking 3 out of 4 against Miami. They did that. To where if they simply just win the next 2 series, got the Athletics coming in for 3 at CBP, and then got the Rockies coming in for 3. They can find themselves at 19-22 before they face the Red Sox on May 12th, I believe. The Phillies were 7 games under 500 in 2023 on June 3rd. They were 8 games under 500 on June 2nd in 2022. Now, those teams, I believe, are better than this current 2026 Philadelphia Phillies team. But if you're only 3 games out compared to 7 or 8, like, the season is not over. And I implored everyone. Now, it was tough. Like, I saw the Phillies at a crossroads in the sense of before the Giants series. They had to fire Topper, and if they didn't fire Topper, I think the season was done. I don't think you get this kind of baseball that they have been playing over the past couple series. And I don't think it's similar to the Joe Girardi situation. It is that you fired your manager, you're playing better. But I think when Girardi got fired, it was more sense of relief, don't really like the guy. I think they are playing like they got one of their guys fired, which in reality, they absolutely did. But let's just kind of go through it. Game 1, I already did a recap. But Zach Wheeler, phenomenal. The offense came to life. The bullpen was a little shaky. However, you win the game. Game 2, that was a nightmare out of hell. Like, the offense was so feeble. The only hit was Garrett Stubbs. And let me just give Garrett Stubbs his props. He's been playing so well. Whatever he gives you with the bat is such a bonus compared to Rafael Marchand, but he threw 2 runners out today. And I really do believe his vibes actually matter. Like, he was always a great vibes guy, but then he said the comment about Arizona, and then he was pretty awful in 24, and Marchand was playing well in a split time, to where it made sense to go to Marchand, especially with the option situation. But I feel like they got so away from having fun that Garrett Stubbs needed to come back up, and he's also playing pretty well. And he has your only hit in game 2. Andrew Painter, not great, but anyone calling for Andrew Painter saying that he's a bust 1 month into his big league career, like genuinely, like you don't know baseball. Am I saying he's going to be a star? I don't know, but I'm not making that proclamation 1 month into someone's big league career. Look up Max Scherzer's first couple years in the big leagues and then come talk to me. So, whatever, game 2. And then game 3, just an absolute avalanche in the first. Thank you to the Miami Marlins for pitching Chris Paddock in the year 2026. He hasn't been good in maybe 10 years. That's probably a bit of an exaggeration, but it might be true. Like, Bryson Stott coming with a 3-run bomb, and he had a 3-run bomb in game 1. I really do believe that big hit against the Giants completely changed his confidence, because when he was talking about his swing and if he made any adjustments or anything, he said no. I mean, I was hitting the ball hard. They just were catching it. But you could see he was kind of indecisive at the plate. Even in that Giants game where he had the big hit, when he struck out in the 6th inning, slams his helmet, but he gets a big hit. They win the game. And he just looks locked in at the plate. So very good for Bryson Stott. Brandon Marsh has been playing phenomenal baseball. I was always a Brandon Marsh supporter, advocate, because everyone said he wasn't good at baseball, and I simply said, look at the stats against right-handed pitching. Look what he does on the defensive side in left field. He's a good ball player, but I didn't imagine this. Like, Brandon Marsh is your 3rd best hitter. Like, and we'll get into Trey Turner, but Brandon Marsh has played phenomenal baseball. And then Jesus Luzardo. He has looked dominant in his last 2 starts, to where when Jesus Luzardo is going good, he's one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. That fastball, sweeper, changeup combo, when they're all on, even if it's just a fastball, a changeup, or a fastball and the sweeper, if he has 2 of his 3 pitches on, he's dominant. In the last 2 starts, he's had all 3 of his pitches working, to where I've always said this team's strength is their starting rotation. The starting rotation was terrible to start the year. The offense, of course, but we always kind of thought that the offense was never going to be a strong suit for this team. But it was a combination of not only the offense not being a strong suit, but the offense being the worst offense in Major League Baseball. Combine that with the starting pitching not doing their job. That's what made us go 9-19. So seeing Jesus Luzardo go out and just dominate, and really all the starting pitchers this series, besides Painter, but he wasn't terrible. And then today, Aaron Nola. Aaron Nola saved the Phillies today. He was so effective to where, man, if Aaron Nola, who I believe right now is your fifth starter in the sense of the totem pole, if he can give you a 4.5 ERA, that is beneficial because the days of Aaron Nola being dominant like he was today for the longevity of a season are over. But going into the start, I'm like, what are they going to do if Aaron Nola just continues to shit the bed? Because with Walker, it was an easy decision, 1 year left on the deal. Aaron Nola has 4 years left on his deal to where he needs to lock it in, and he did. Bryce Harper with the solo home run today. Bryce Harper's been so consistent all year, aside from the first week of the season. He's been one of the best hitters in Major League Baseball and winning a 1-0 game. And the Phillies have won 2 one-run games in the series to where that just tells you the mojo, the baseball gods, whatever you want to call it, they're on the side of the Philadelphia Phillies. So overall, just a great series, like continuing this momentum and build it into Oakland, Las Vegas, Sacramento, whatever. Win 2 out of 3. But some key takeaways I wanted to talk about in this series. Bryson Stott is back, like I said. If he can just be a league average hitter from what he does on the defensive side, that's so valuable. Brandon Marsh is our third best hitter. Already talked about him. Bryce has been one of the most consistent hitters in Major League Baseball. Kyle Schwarber has had such an interesting start to the year because the homers are still there. The OPS is still at a good spot, but he reminds me of 2023 in where it was a 3 true outcome guy. Home run, strikeout, walk. And I don't think we're going to get 2025 Kyle Schwarber because that was his best year of his career. But if he can be just a little better than 23, kind of in the middle of 23 and 25, I think that's going to lead to a more consistent lineup because Harper, Schwarber, and Turner have not been hot the entire year together. And if they are all going right at the same time, that is enough offense because that top 3 is electric. Turner, another big talking point, he hasn't been hot all year, and it is giving me pause for concern because his at-bats look feeble, and then the defensive woes have sparked up again to where last year he simply was doing what he does, getting singles, causing havoc on the bases, and playing gold glove level defense. That's why he finished top 5 in the MVP voting last year. So Turner needs to get his head out of his ass because it's going to cost us in the series from the defensive side, but in a 1-0 game, especially with our bullpen that's kind of shaky, getting Duran back tomorrow, which is going to be huge, you have to make those plays. And I will give him credit. I think it was Otto Lopez smoked the ball to him. Granted, it was right at him, so any shortstop in the big league should make the play. But it was a big moment. He made the play. He flipped it to Stott, double play, completely killed the momentum. So Turner is kind of something to keep an eye out because he really needs to lock it in. Do I think he will? Yes, because I think he's too good of a baseball player to continue like this. The thing about Turner is always in the clutch, and I have no faith with him in the clutch. Even last year when he had a great season, he was terrible in the postseason. But Turner needs to step it up, and I think he will. Alec Boehm had 2 hits on Friday, but didn't really do well. Nothing else the rest of the series. Alec Boehm is going to, I don't know, because I really don't know what you do with him. Aiden Miller has still not swung a bat. And I don't think he's in the Phillies' plans for this year just due to the injury. Can you bring up Otto Lopez? Maybe. Or Otto Lopez, my fault. Otto Kemp. Brian Rincon is killing it in Double-A. He's a glove first player. I don't know. I mean, he seems like a couple years away. So I don't really know what you do with Alec Boehm. So that's a situation to monitor. However, you won 3 out of 4. The starting pitching is dominant right now. If it stays on that track, you can win a game 1-0. You can win a game 2-0. And the bullpen is starting to come into form, in my opinion. Duran's going to be back tomorrow, like I mentioned. That just makes everyone's life so much easier. Brad Keller, he got the save today, but they smoked those baseballs off of him. So he's still a worrisome. But if you can slide him back in the 8th inning or roll, maybe take some pressure off of him. But if he continues to struggle, I put Kerkering right back in there because Orion Kerkering has a 2.13 ERA this season. He's been phenomenal. The thing about him is also the big moment, and that still scares me. However, in this current bullpen situation, I would still give Keller some more run in the eighth inning as a set man to Duran. But if he struggles, you go to Kerkering. Banks has looked good his last two outings. Jose Alvarado finally had a scoreless outing or didn't either give up a run or any inheritor runs. So Jose Alvarado is going to be another thing to monitor because I think he's cooked. But if he can get back to 2023 Alvarado, that makes this bullpen one of the best in Major League Baseball. Do I think that's going to happen? I don't know. But overall, I think things are rounding into form. I think they're playing with a confidence and a looseness with Don Mattingly to where, man, just win two more series and then let's just like play baseball the rest of the year. And I've always said this, if you get into the playoffs with this level of starting pitching, I don't care if it's a wild card, I don't care if it's a 1 seed, 2 seed, you can beat anyone in Major League Baseball to where it just feels good, man, to get on this podcast and like talk about the Phillies in a positive light because those 3 weeks, hell, the month of April was a living hell for me. Coming on here every day screaming, wanting them to make changes. They finally did. But my favorite thing in the world is when the Philadelphia Phillies are playing good baseball. And that's what they're doing right now. So, got to turn it around or not turn it around. Have a quick turnaround tomorrow. Lock in. Beat the Athletics, beat the Rockies, and let's have a good baseball season. The season is not over. The season has never been more on. So, as always, go Phils. You guys have a good night.